Hey there, guys. This is Chaos Matrix here, and today I got a present for you guys. Okay, so basically, I had recorded a meeting that I had with my supervisor on the behalf of what happened at the theaters, because I usually work there as a security guard for Securitas, and I'm gonna let you guys hear it through and and then we'll get to the meat of what's going on. So if you guys enjoy videos like this, um, comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Um, I'm gonna kind of make do a commentary, so I'm gonna stop it and talk about what give a clarification as to what happened and how it got to that point. All right, let's get it. Nobody's here. Don't open it. Why? Okay. Hello, sir. I'm late. I had to walk up here and waiting to get across the street. It's pretty busy today, so. Yes, ma'am.
How's your day?
Not so good. Got a headache. Took some painkillers for it.
Like a migraine?
Yeah, something like that. And it's been hurting me since winter got started, so I've been taking some medicine, try to relax.
Right.
And then I got this so I'm trying to get better.
So I had to kind of do the removal because I got a call yesterday from management out at the Century 16. So and I pulled up your daily activity reports on the phone, but there's none.
Okay, so let me clarify this. So basically, um, there is a phone that I'm supposed to use to do weekly reports, right? Even if I'm doing my rounds. And what's happening is the fact that they didn't give me access to um, they didn't give me access to the phone or to make sure that I had access to the phone, right? And so I was kind of stuck without being able to use the phone. Now at this point, I really didn't know what to tell them. So that's kind of what happened
There's zero
on that part.
reports on the phone
Hmm.
since you started there. The last ones I had were from Marianne.
And the last, the first time that I started working there, the security guard didn't ensure that that I got everything set up. He didn't even go to the supervisor. I tried to reach out to her and to get her to fix, and they would not see to it that I got you know it fixed, the phone fixed, right? So um it seems like it became a problem once. um I guess it's probably she was more hangover on the reports, which I'm assuming the manager at the Century 16 is actually the theaters. So like I think what happened is um the manager there, the head manager at the theater, at the Century 16 theater here in Alaska. For those of you that live in Alaska, know what I'm talking about. Um, Pretty much kind of called after noticing that the reports are missing from the emails and received, and then from there they kind of just, I guess she probably told some stuff that happened.
back
Mm,
in February.
of course.
And so from February when I started working there, they didn't even make sure that I had access to the phone before um, before I was really set up ready to go. So it was kind of their problem because, I tried to reach out. I tried to tell them that one of the managers told me about it, and I told them, well, I don't know how the phone works. I don't have access to it. And I even tried to get access to the phone, and I couldn't. I even tried signing up to it, and it wouldn't let me sign up, so it was like nothing I can do. So,
Um, so what happened was they said they had a few complaints. There was a girl apparently that was saying you were following her around. You're always on your AirPod.
okay, so first off, she didn't, when the manager came to me concerning this chick, this teenage girl, um, I won't say her name due to the privacy of this video and the confidential of that person. So we're going to name her Sarah. And the manager will just name her Samantha. So Sarah went to Samantha and reported to her saying that um, she didn't feel comfortable with me being around her because she felt like I was being friendly to her or trying to talk to her. That's what the manager told me, right? So then it went from her telling me that she told me to keep my distance. So I even asked one of the managers if I can sit into their room to have lunch, which, I was able to have lunch until like when the other managers got back. I didn't get to have lunch because they were more strict on me walking around the theater back and forth all over the place every hour. And the manager told me that I wasn't supposed to be, and I'm not making this up. He told me, well, I told him like it's kind of hot in that break room or whatever, and he was like, well, you're not supposed to be in there. And I'm like, if I'm not supposed to be in there, how am I supposed to take my breaks? So basically, to their logic, because I'm a security guard, I'm not allowed to take breaks. I'm supposed to be walking around the theater every hour, every day. It's kind of ridiculous, to be honest. So at first I did like working at the theater because it was chill. I thought the people were pretty cool, and I thought, okay, this is actually something I can vibe. But then after a while, things kind of got complicated. People weren't as friendly as I thought, and they weren't as cool or whatever. They just had this asphyxiated of what they think a security guard is supposed to be stoic and quiet. They're supposed to be a ghost, and they're supposed to just basically act like the same way as police officers, really. So now it's like the manager, Samantha, the head manager of um, the theater, turns around and then accuses me of following a teenage girl around. And she probably didn't even look at the cameras to see if that was really true. She probably just took whatever information she had and ran with it, which I was not following a teenage girl around. That's not true. I was doing my rounds the way that I was supposed to do because I was supposed to go in every theater room, and in every room, auditorium room in the theater, and I'm supposed to check the exit doors every hour. I'm supposed to go outside and check the perimeters outside the theater every hour. That's what I was doing. I was not following her around. As a matter of fact, we passed each other, but I didn't follow her around. They kind of made it seem like I was stalking her when I wasn't. Let's get back to the tapes.
I wasn't following anybody around.
You're always on your AirPod.
Okay, so I have an AirPod in my ear, but I was never on the phone. And the reason I had that in my ear because I talked to myself a lot, and I didn't even have my phone with me. My phone was already dead. So it's like, how in the world am I supposed to be on the phone with the dead phone? And they won't believe me anyway, because all the thing I had was the company phone that I was supposed to use to do weekly night reports on, right? I didn't have my actual phone with me because my actual phone was in the break room on the charger because it was dead. So I didn't have it with me all that time. And the reason is because I had other people that were saying that the cleaners think that I was crazy or a psycho because I talk to myself a lot. But, when you get to the point where, I guess because it's taboo for some people to see, oh, he talks to himself and blah, blah, blah. So I'm assuming she just don't work there anymore because she just came across somebody that, oh, he talks to himself a lot. But what they don't understand is in this world that we live in, especially here in Alaska, people don't like to talk with each other anymore. They don't like to meet new people. They don't like friendly people. If you one of those apologetic people, they don't like that. They don't like a person who talks a lot. Um, it's like living in a world where you have to be silent, you have to say a few words, and you have to keep moving. I can't live a life like that. And living a life like that in Alaska is boring. But let's get back.
Or your headphone on. The headphone that goes connected to
Mhm.
the site or to the radio, you never had it on. You always had it on your shirt. So every
Okay, so that was a lie. Okay, so there's these radios that we have, and it comes with a earpiece that goes with it, right? According to what the manager said, that I always had it on my shirt. I never had it on. That was not true. That was not true. I had both my AirPods on and I had my radio earpiece on. So she lied. And as a matter of fact, if you guys look at my YouTube shorts, you will notice that the little curly cord that comes down on my face was actually the headphones, the earpiece that I wear that's for the radio for the theater. Because as a security guard, I need that, right? You'll notice that I have that on my ear, and I also have my AirPods on at the same time. So basically, Samantha has lied in a report and said that I had it in my shirt. What was on my shirt was the speaker piece that goes with the ear, with the ear headset, and I use that to talk to people. So she's saying that I just had the earpiece on my shirt. Let's go back and rewind it again. Let's go back again.
had it on, you always had it on your shirt. So
So she's saying that I never had it on, that I always had it on my shirt. That doesn't make any sense. I always had the radio on, and I always had the earpiece in my ear, just like I had the earpiece for my AirPods in the other ear. And you guys that watch my shorts, you'll see what I'm talking about. So I know that part ain't true because I always had the radio on and I always had the earpiece in my ear. Let's get back to the tapes.
every time they were looking for you,
Okay, so basically, I get what they're saying now. Okay, so basically, what they're saying is they tried to call for me on the radio, and for some reason, they couldn't get a hold of me. And that wasn't true because a lot of times they never call for me over the radio, right? So, like, um, there was a shortage in the radio. And for those of you who've been security guards and you have the earpiece that connects to the radio, you guys know what I'm talking about. Where, it glitches out or you'll hear them for the first 5 seconds. Then all of a sudden you don't hear nothing and people show up and say, "Hey, is your radio on?" It's like, "Yeah, what happened?" So I spoke with the manager concerning this because it was an issue. And what I did is I went to the break room and I would unplug the radio so that I can hear what's going on because, like I can't really hear anything through the headphones. Sometimes I'll hear, but it was a technical issues going on with the radio itself. It's crazy.
Um, they couldn't find you.
My thing is, they're saying that they couldn't find me, right? But they did find me because I was walking down the aisle from the opposite side of the building, and they were just trying to tell me that there was a skinny lady that was acting twitchy or whatever to go check up on her in the theater and just make sure she's not causing any problems, you know. So they basically knew that I was having technical issues because I told one of the managers about it. So what they did is went behind my back and just tried to make it seem like I was just ignoring them when they said something over the radio. Or I had my radio turned off, and that wasn't true. You see how prejudice and how you have to deal with people like that on the job? This is what I had to deal with. And this is in Alaska. You have to deal with people like this. People will lie, they will make up stuff, they will try to make it seem like you didn't do your job or you're not doing what you're supposed to do. It's ridiculous.
So they've been having. I told one of the managers about this. I told them that like the earpiece for the radio. Sometimes I would hear them, but then it's like I don't hear them because they were like, "Hey, did you hear us on the radio?" So I didn't hear anything. What happened? Because I'm actually just walking around doing my job, so I'm not.
Right.
And I even told Kevin about this, so he knows about this. So it's kind of like now they're just, I guess, pretending like they don't.
You spoke to, is Kevin a manager?
Yeah, yeah. I
Okay.
spoke to him because he was trying to fix it for me, and I even told the other manager, I don't know her name, but I think her name is Kiana. I don't know, but I told her that if because the headsets that I've been using. I guess there's something wrong with the radio because, like, when you turn it on, you're supposed to hear a beat,
Okay.
and a lot of times I don't hear the beat. So I told them, like, I told the other lady, I said, if for some reason you can't hear me, I don't want you guys thinking I'm ignoring you. Just find me because I'm either walking because I have to walk through theaters,
Yeah, that was
auditoriums.
another thing that they don't have closing reports from you, patrol reports. And then I checked, like I said, I went online and checked the site itself.
And see, the thing is, I didn't do the reports because I didn't have access to the phone, but I was doing my rounds. And I was doing my rounds like I was told to, like I was supposed to. I even took pictures. This is something that I left out of this audio. I actually took pictures of certain places and certain areas around the mall, around the theater, like that there is trim, a metal trim that goes on the door, on the door through the exit door. I took a picture of that and I showed it to one of the managers named John. I'd say, "Hey, this been vandalized." I also showed where somebody took something sharp and scraped the paint off one of the doors on the, I would say, on the left side of the building. I think it's like the west side of the building. I think it was like auditorium either 3 exit door, outside exit door, or 2. I'm thinking it was 2, or it could have been 3. And I even had the manager to walk with me so that he can see what was going on. You know, so it wasn't like I wasn't doing my job. It's just the only problem is I didn't have access to the phone to do the reports the way I want to do the reports. But I was doing my rounds and I was doing what I'm supposed to do. And if they go back and look at the cameras will show you. The cameras will show you proof. I was even there helping out when, well, they don't have no cameras on Saturday theater. I forgot about that, which I don't know why they would not have that. And then in one of the camera recordings, me and John, we went outside of the theater because I told him about a door that was vandalized. I think it was either auditorium 2 or 3 on the west side building. I told one of them that. So he went out there and checked it out. I even told them, hey, uh, there's a lot of mess in the game room. And one of the managers says, hey, thank you for letting us know about that. I say, hey, no problem. You know, I like to help out and keep a lookout. Because a lot of times I patrol in there too, just to make sure it ain't too messy or whatever. So it's not that I'm not doing my job. It's just the only problem I didn't have access to the company phone so that I can report and say, hey, guys, look, I did my rounds. This is what I did. Because the lady that I'm sitting here talking to is my security supervisor for Securitas, and they didn't even make sure that I had access to the phone in the first place. So let's do a review. So basically, Samantha and a couple of other managers kind of just lied and made it seem like I wasn't really like doing my job, basically, and they just kind of ignored the fact that okay, I've been having radio issues. I even told the manager about that. I think her name is Kiara or Kiana. I don't know what her name is, right? And she just sat it there in the break room in the office and just ignored everything that I said. I'm just like, so you just got people that are just ignorant and they only care about themselves. Let's get back to the tapes.
and there's really no reports at all. Uh, I mean, I have rovings, but then that's it. I have nothing.
But see, she's saying she got rovings, which is these are other security guards that are, they do their rounds by driving around and stuff like that. But my thing is, that's why she should have made sure that I had access to it. So that's not my problem, that's their problem. But but see, most jobs try to throw things on you to make sure that you're supposed to do this and you're supposed to communicate. But it's really it goes both ways. Like, yeah, the person's supposed to communicate, but you're supposed to reach out too. You don't expect one person to communicate and do the reaching out and do all of this other stuff. You got to put some work in too. Don't just expect somebody else to do everything and giving you handouts on what's going on. You got to reach out too. But see, that's how people are on these jobs. You know, they try to do everything they can to, and as far as I know, the supervisor probably lied in the report and she probably just put whatever she wants to put in there. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to females, it's always going to be their word over the guy's word. Always. And that's how it is on most of these jobs. So as far as I know, she probably didn't put whatever she want to put in there and make it seem like I wasn't really doing my job completely at all, even though I was. I just didn't have access to the phone to do the weekly reports.
Nothing from you that I could say, he's doing his reports because there's nothing. Um, so she said she spoke to you about this before, about the following the girl, and she told you to keep it confidential, but you told other guards, I mean, not other guards, other,
Oh, is that the one she told me to keep distance from?
yes.
Well,
Okay, so here's the thing. So she did say the okay, so Sarah did say to keep it confidential, right? But the teenage girl that actually reported me to Samantha, but s- okay, so Samantha did tell me to keep it confidential. Sorry, I'm getting the names twisted up. But Sarah was the one that got her coworkers involved. And I know that because one of her coworkers came up to me and she spoke to me about it. And he's no, I'm sorry, he. Sorry, I'm tongue tied today, guys. He spoke to me about it and told me that I wasn't really doing anything. It's just, she just said that I was being too friendly, which basically was an explanation of why she reported me. That's basically what one of her coworkers told me. I didn't say nothing. He just got in a break room and he just told me what was going on. So I didn't get nobody else involved. He told everybody else. She told everybody else about it. She told everybody else about it. She looked dead at me, waiting for me to say something to her so she can go back and tell everybody else. She even went back and she even went back and told Samantha, which is the lead manager, that I got everybody else involved into the situation when I didn't, because I didn't get nobody else involved. I kept my distance the way I was supposed to. The only people I told were the managers so they can be aware of what's going on and that, uh, because it was just to cover myself.
Actually, the employee told everybody else before I did because everybody else, because I had another person.
But there was things that were said that only she said to you that other employees knew.
Yeah,
The other employees knew because she told them. I didn't tell them anything because a lot of them didn't even talk to me. They were avoiding me and all of this stuff, and they were acting weird. So she told them everything. I didn't tell them anything. See, you see how my security supervisor tried to make it seem like, okay, well, they told only you that they didn't tell anybody else. That's false. I know what she's trying to do, and that's not gonna work because this teenage girl, Sarah, she was the one that got her coworkers involved and told them the same thing that she told and reported to me about, reported to Samantha, the head manager, about. So I know that that's not true. So that's what happened.
and I told her that that was Miss Lenore. I told her that I don't, because I heard some stuff that I've been told about what happened with the last security guard that was there.
Okay.
And
And
I
then arriving early, she said.
And she even interrupted me in the middle of a sentence. It's almost like she was just trying to. So the person that I was talking to is my security supervisor for Securitas, right? And the one thing I noticed is she's been cutting me off in the middle of a sentence because she's like it's like she's just rushing things along because she don't want to hear what I have to say. But she'll hear every lie that somebody else is saying and take it and run with it and not really care about what I had to say.
You're there like 2:30 or so.
Well, I take the bus because usually I take a Uber to get there and I take a Uber to get back, and it's like $100 that I'm spending. So what I was doing is taking a bus to get there and then taking because Uber is expensive. Like I have.
And that's kind of a stupid question. Like, you're asking me, why would I get there so early? Do you know how many coworkers that don't really care about their jobs? Not that I care about my job, but a lot of coworkers don't even show up on time for work these days. Do you know how many workers that get fired, especially in fast food restaurants, because of their attendance, because they don't show up to work on time? I showed up early to be on time. And okay, so let me clarify this. So basically, um, what happened is I was I was basically taking an Uber to get to work. You know, I stay in Anchorage, so that's like an hour and 30 minutes away from the Century 16 Theater in Alaska, Anchorage, right? So I had to take an Uber to get there, and I took an Uber to get back to ensure that I get there on time. However, I ended up taking a bus to get to work. And then and then I came into the theater to sit in the break room to try to, wait for my shift to start so I can start. So I was doing that to reduce the cost of transportation because taking Ubers is expensive. I mean, what do you mean? Why would I show up so early? What's wrong with getting to work so early? Because I did the same thing when I was working at the Fifth Avenue Mall, which I also got removed from. Didn't nobody say nothing about me coming up there early. This is ridiculous.
Bus was so early. The buses run every hour.
Uh,
Of course, they run every hour. But see, if I started, okay, let's say if I got here at 3, right? If I got at the bus stop at 3, okay? I got picked up around like 3:08, and then by the time I get there, I have to wait until 3:57 before the bus comes, right? Then by the time I get there, I'm going to be late because the bus has to make a lot of stops, right? So, so this is crazy, you know? Like even if I did like got up at 4 and say, "Hey, I'm taking the bus there." Okay, I got to wait till 4:57 just to get there. And I know the bus runs every hour, which is why I wanted to get there on time. That's why I got there early so I can get there on time. Or where if I wait till 3, by the time I get there, it's probably going to be almost time for me to clock in. Because last time I tried that, getting there at 4, and I was almost late getting there. I was almost late getting there. I was pretty much late. No, actually, I was late getting to work one day because I didn't get in until like 5:21. I had to call up there and let them know that I was going to be running late. So that's why I didn't want to do that no more.
well, the thing is, I'm supposed to be there at 5, so if I get there late, then obviously they're gonna say something about that.
Right, but
Exactly. So like if I'm getting there late, they're going to say something about that too, which means I'm burning both ends of the candle.
I mean, I don't think the earliest you
Because,
could get there is like 4, but 2,
I
that's
mean,
early.
I mean, I did get there at 2, but for the most part, usually I get there around 3:30ish, 3:45, somewhere around that time.
yeah, I mean, I get there. I didn't think it was anything wrong with me getting there early. I mean, it's better than me not being late.
Yeah, but
You know what I mean?
it does become a thing because we're not supposed to be there, so it becomes a liability for them.
Oh,
Hmm.
well, they didn't really talk to me about that,
Right.
which, they should have spoke to me about that. But it's like, Uber is kind of expensive because
I
I've been
understand that. I
spending,
definitely understand that.
you know,
So, right now, I have to remove you from Century 16.
So she mentioned, I don't know if you guys heard that, but she mentioned that that's in the handbook. And I'm just like, who has time to read a handbook? I don't have time to read no handbook. My thing is, if if I'm not supposed to be there early, they should have said something. But instead, they just use that as a way to make it seem like I'm just, you know, They just they just using that because for something that, you know, I don't know. They just doing that just to be petty for no
Means you
reason.
can't go back there. I have to type up our conversation and email it to.
And I noticed that this whole conversation that we had, I tried to explain it to her. I was already tired, got a headache and wasn't feeling too good, and I had called off on that Tuesday last week. So pretty much, she kind of rushed this whole entire meeting, saying that she got to type it up. Which, as far as I know, she'll probably just put in there that, just to kind of defend on the defense for the people at the theater, you know, and just kind of just I don't know. I really don't really care at this point because I'm really getting tired of these jobs. I'm tired of the stress of dealing with people. So now I technically have the job at Securitas, but employed. But I guess she's trying to find some more work for me. Probably not. And if she's not, then I'm already looking for another job that I can actually do, that will be suitable for me. So, but yeah, let's get back to the tapes. There's still more.
Melissa down in the lower 48,
Mhm.
and then I will contact you so we can work on a different schedule.
Hold on, let's go back.
I have to type up our conversation and email it to Melissa down in the lower 48,
Mhm.
and then I will contact you so we can work on a different schedule or something that's better and closer to you. Okay?
Okay, see, that's probably gonna take a whole damn month before she can find something that's bigger and closer to me because that's something she should have did in the first place. But she waited for a whole month of January this year just to find me, just to actually have me work at the theater. So, will she ever help me find something that's closer and better in the area? Probably not. Because, I just don't trust anything this lady says. Anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it for that conversation. And I just felt like it was rushed because it's like, she kind of just interrupted me in the middle of a sentence. Didn't even give me a chance to finish what I had to say. So basically, the overall uh, thing about this whole situation is they just accused me of um, not doing my job, ignoring people over the radio, and saying that I just had it on my shirt and I wasn't really listening in on what's going on, even though I was. But at the same time, I told a manager that I was having issues with the radio. So I guess whoever she spoke to probably didn't mention that and probably didn't know that I had issues with the radio. I don't know, but um you guys let me know what you think. All right. Thank you guys for watching.